पागल सब तो करके आ रहा है.
So irritating.
To share with you guys as to how.
So a piece of what? No, I'm trying to make a video.
What is this browser?
Relax, Champu.
Who Champu? Okay. As so let's go. The tips. Don't come closer, okay?
Tip number 1.
Hey, stay there, Babu. Important to do your research right on the website. Tip number 2. Tip number 2. Tip number 2. Tip number 2. Since you have a pressure. Okay, so tip number. So hello guys, welcome to the size journey, and we have a news for you. So the news is we'll be shifting our house from where we currently live to some other location, and we thought since we're doing that, why not we make a video for you guys and tell you guys how we managed to find a house the first time we came to Canada, where we got it, how we did it, and this house as well, like where we will be shifting, how we are doing the process, and what goes to finding a new house. So stay tuned and let's go. So before we get to sharing more information about us and how we found our house, we would like to first share with you as to what are the different types of properties that you can rent here in Canada. We'll look at each one of them and then we'll proceed with our experience.
In Canada, there are different type of rental properties. First one, you can rent a whole house, or you can just rent an apartment building. So an apartment building is like basically like a whole building filled with rental units, and is run by a company or an individual. And then there are condos. Condos are pretty normal. They're just like the flats in India, like gated community kind of flats, or condos as they call it in other places. And then there are these kind of basements, which are like there's a house above and then there is a basement unit available. So these are the usual 4 types of rental available in Canada, and we are currently only looking at basements because we're trying to build our finances and everything. So for now we kind of cheap it out there. Currently we are staying in a basement and we are looking to move house right now. So we've asked the agent that we know to help us find some units available and show us some of the houses that she knows. And she's also the one who helped us find this one. She's our parents' friend's friend that we found in Canada, and she's been really helpful. So like initially when we came to Canada, we didn't really know things, so we found it best to actually engage with an agent to, you know, make sure we're dealing it the right way. So she's going to come and pick us up later. She has a few listings prepared for us to see. We are currently waiting for her. We're just going to have a really big breakfast because we're going to be out for a few hours looking at these houses, and then we will cover the rest after we are back from our viewing. Okay?
So maybe just one more thing I wanted to add here, which is, now you guys must be wondering that, oh, you have an agent, so you might have to pay the fees and there's extra cost incurred and stuff like that. But no, it's free. So the agent does not take any money from us. The agent takes money from the landlord. So for us, it's zero.
Yes, so it's actually free. Free meaning the sense that we don't have to fork out anything from our pocket to pay the agent. In Canada, it's the landlord who will be paying the agent as well. And yeah, for us, we know the person and she's nice, so she brings us around personally to show us. Some other agents, I don't know how they work, they might work differently. So yeah, it varies. A piece of advice for when you're going to look for houses: make sure you dress well, because when you are looking for the house, if it's appropriate for you, the landlord also might be looking at you and judging you if you will be a good tenant. So always look presentable. Don't look rich, look decent, just dress well. Just like how you're going for an interview. If you have a beard, just do your beard, get a haircut, or do something just to look decent. And that will go a long way in creating a good impression with the landlord. Yes! Let's begin.
Okay, so now that we are in different clothes, you must have guessed this is not the same day as yesterday. This is another day. We wanted to go ahead and take this video yesterday itself, but oh gosh, after seeing all the houses, we were extremely tired, so we decided to just go and get some rest and sleep and watch some movies. Okay, so we have had an amazing experience yesterday, but before we go on and tell you like how our experience was, the kind of houses we saw, and what are we going to take note of, we thought that since we are making the video, why not just give you some tips that has come along a great way to help us find an amazing house, which is this house, and hopefully it will help us find our next house as well, and hoping that it will help you guys find an amazing house that you can live in and prosper greatly. So let's go!
Okay, so if you're new in Canada, you might be wondering how you can find rentals, where you can go and find which websites to use. So we'll just name you a few so you can get started. There are many actually. So you can start with rentals.ca, you can go to Kijiji, you can go to Facebook Marketplace, you can go to realtor.ca. There are plenty. We'll list down a few in the screens on top of your face. And we'll get to it. And you can go in those websites, you can compare what is in the area that you are interested in, what are the pricings, and like it'll give you an idea on what to expect and also what kind of budget to set. Okay, now that we are done with that, let's start getting into the tips. So tip number one is not to splurge and get something that is really expensive for your first rental. So you're coming here to Canada to start a life, build a life. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your expenses as low as possible. And rent is the single biggest expense you're going to have here. So make sure to find something that is comfortable for you, but not like that is luxurious for you. I know we all come from different backgrounds. Sometimes we are used to a luxurious life, a comfortable life back home from where we came, but you're here to build a life, to build a career. So make sure to find something that is affordable and comfortable for you, but not too much. While I'm on this topic, I also want to say, don't cheap out. Your safety, your security and your comfort are really important. I know we are trying to build our lives here, but I've seen some people like try to save as much money as possible and stay in really bad houses with a lot of insects, bed bugs, and they really have health issues. So don't do that. Make sure you're getting a clean place, a secure place for yourself. You don't want to come to this country and start losing yourself. And so make sure that you don't cheap out. Get something that is comfortable and affordable, and you will do fine. Okay?
Tip number 2, which is to set a budget. Go do your research on the websites that we have given to look at the kind of house that you want to rent, and then you will get roughly the kind of budget that you want to set. Of course, if you find a house that is lower than the budget you have set, then that is super amazing. But setting a maximum budget will also ensure that you don't splurge unnecessarily and don't go and get those luxurious houses that are not needed at this point. Tip number 3 is, if possible, of course it's optional, but if possible, get an agent. If you're wondering, like getting an agent will cost you extra money, you will have some additional payments to pay, but there is no such thing. I've mentioned earlier that it is completely free to hire an agent. All the cost incurred would be paid by the landlord. So there are a few benefits to hiring an agent to do it for you. Number 1 is it saves you a lot of time. Finding a house in Canada is definitely not an easy task, so why not just leave it to the agent for her or him to do it for you. That's what we did. All we did was to give our agent the kind of area that we are looking at, and she helped us locate all the different houses that are in that area. Point 2 is you are more likely to get the house because you have a legal representative with you. That makes the landlord trust you more. So point number 3 is that they are more familiar with the legal things that are here in Canada, which you might not be very familiar with, and they can also help you with certain negotiations, like probably reducing the price, or getting some work done, like having a new paint, or having a new washing machine, having a new fridge, and so on and so forth.
So tip number 4 is to always go and check out the house in person. You will always make the mistake of looking at photos and then agreeing beforehand because we are desperate, whatever, but never make that mistake, because there are a lot of stories of people agreeing without even looking to the house, and once they're moving, it's horror, it's nightmare. So don't do that. Always go and check it out. It's always different from when you see it in person than in photos. So never make that mistake. And also make sure you never transfer money without even looking at the property. There are a lot of scams going around. So protect yourself, be safe, and always look first and transact safely.
Okay, tip number 5 is vibes. So I believe in vibes a lot. I believe in vibes coming from people, vibe coming from a place. So it is very important, like the house that you're staying in must have good vibes, because you're going to be there, living there for years, like 1 year, 2 years, or many years. So it will help you grow. Positive energy, I believe, will help you grow, and negative energy will kind of pull you down, throw you in depression and stuff like that. So make sure that the house that you visit has good vibes.
So tip number 6, when you go to view the place, always check out the neighborhood as well. It's very important to know not just know what's in the house, but also important to know what's around the house. Like, we went to see a house and it was cheap and we really wanted to go for it and save money, but then the neighborhood was not really that great. We didn't feel safe, so we didn't go for that. So it's very important to know what kind of neighborhood you're staying in, and also make sure to check out what are the amenities nearby, like grocery stores, the bus stops is very important, so that you can save your time. You don't have to travel far to get your groceries, and also traveling by bus is more likely what you're going to do when you first come to Canada. So it's very important to know where the bus stops are, and make sure to get the house which is near your workplace or your institution, wherever you're studying. And that's really important. You don't want to be traveling more than 2 buses to get to wherever you want to go, because it's a waste of your time and effort. I did that. I traveled by 3 buses one time, and going back and forth is really not good. Really not good at all. So I try to, wherever I go, I try to get it close to a workplace or the institution, wherever I'm going to spend most of my time. So tip number 7, if you're looking at condos or apartments, always check out their reviews in Google. Just go to Google, type in their name. Each apartment and condo have their names. Type it in and you should be able to see a Google page with reviews there. Go click on it and see what people are saying about that building. People who have already stayed there previously. For some cases, I've heard that in condos, some point the lifts are always broken. People are finding it difficult. So if you're staying on a higher floor, it's going to be a problem for you. So take note, always read the reviews. It really gives you an understanding of what kind of place you're moving into.
Tip number 8, very important to have a legal document, a legal contract that you sign between the landlord and the tenants. Of course, you will say that, why is she even saying that? Isn't it obvious? But there are a lot of illegal landlords here who would rent their properties without giving any legal documents, because they have to pay additional tax if the government knows that they are renting their basement. So they will try to avoid paying that tax and just, do it very face to face. What happens in that scenario is that it will allow the landlord to kick you out whenever and however they want. We do have an incident that happened, not with us, but with someone we are familiar with. So what they did is, they got all their bags and they were ready to move. The day that they were shifting, the landlord told them that, oh, okay, they do not want to rent anymore. And they were literally homeless for 2 weeks. So please take note, always make sure that there is a legal document that you sign. Okay, so tip number 9 is to maintain good relations with your landlord. Especially when you are living in a basement and you stay together with the landlord who is living on top. Why I'm saying so is because your life will be much more easier, trust me. Here where we are living, things have been very flexible for us. The landlord has been super helpful to us, and how we manage to achieve that is through good relations. So that's one. And secondly, when you're leaving this place and you're shifting to a new place, you can take something that is called landlord reference, which is given a lot of importance here in Canada. So when you're going to a new landlord, they would want to see that, okay, maybe give me a reference of how you were from your previous landlord, of how you were. So if you have a good reference, it will come a long way, and it's more likely you will get the next house as compared to any others. So take note of that.
So this is the last but very important tip. Always remember to build your credit score. So credit score is really important here, from getting a car, getting a loan, getting a house, and even getting a rental apartment. I know it doesn't really matter maybe, but it really matters into showing who you are financially, how responsible you are. So the credit score is really important. When you come to Canada, make sure to build it. Make sure to know the tips in how to build credit score. So when we first come to Canada, we might not really have like a good credit score, because we're just starting out, might be in the 600s, which is not really great. But landlords might be willing to adjust if you provide like alternate forms of guarantee. And this is really where like an agent comes in and be helpful during the negotiation process. So for our case, like when we didn't have anything, we didn't have a job yet, we didn't have like a good credit score yet. But then like landlord sometimes asks to, you know, give 3 months advance payment or 4 months advance payment. I'm not sure about the legality of that, but we have faced that, and they just want guarantee, because they are landlords after all, and they don't want to go through the process of having to deal with difficult legal processes. If you want to kick someone out, it's difficult for them in Canada. So that's why they're going through these intense processes. So always make sure you have good credit score and keep building on it. It's really important for your life in Canada here.
Alright, so we have not really lived in shared accommodation. So most of the knowledge that comes about shared accommodation is through our friends. Most of them are living in shared accommodation. So I think one thing that they have all told us is it is very important to clear out the rules. Now, the kind of rules that I'm talking about is, for example, who's going to do the cleaning? How are we going to manage the cleaning? Who's going to do the common areas? And what about the food? Like some of the people are vegetarian, some of the people are non-vegetarian. So like, how are you going to deal with that? Are the vegetarians okay that we cook non-vegetarian food, or it will be 100% vegetarian house? So these are the things that are very important to be cleared out. Okay, so now we are done with the tips, and we will be sharing about our experience that we had viewing all the 4 houses, and how our day went the other day. Yeah.
Yes, so that day we had 4 listings prepared and we went to them, and it was actually quite a tiring day, because after that we did actually go grab some bagels and Tim Hortons coffee. And also we did go to a warehouse. When we were passing by a warehouse, it showed like there was a sale going on, warehouse sale, and that really captured our attention. So we went to see what's up there. And it was a shoe warehouse. Didn't really want to buy anything, but check it out. And then after that, I think the agent and the husband wanted to go see a casino that was newly built. And we've never been to a casino, so we said, like, why not? Let's go. And then we went there, and it was really nice. It was my first time experience, but unfortunately, madam could not enter because she didn't bring her ID.
Yeah, actually I was the most happy. If you ask me why, it's because the lady, the security that was at the entrance of the casino, told me that I look very young, probably around max, she said maybe around 26 or even lesser than that. And I was very happy to hear that. Of course, I'm more than 26 years old, but when someone thinks you're young, of course you feel happy about it. Yeah, and he really couldn't enjoy much inside because he wanted me to be there, and you know, the thought of me sitting at one corner didn't let him enjoy his trip. Took the casino, but I was enjoying myself. I had a lot of me time to spare, sitting alone and looking at my Instagram, looking at the reels, looking at the pictures. So I had an amazing time. Yeah.
Nice way to sugarcoat you were sitting alone at outside.
I still enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself.
Okay, okay.
Plus, I got to
I know
hear
that
I
know the value of alone time. You know, okay, fine. Yeah, so I went to the casino. I'm not really into casino games. I mean, putting money and then trying your luck. But it was great for a first try because I've never done it before. And then the couple, the agent and her husband, was explaining to me how things work here and the different things. And they were taking me around. So I really enjoyed my time there. And then after that we went back home, and then we wanted to shoot this video, but then we were so tired by then, like going around seeing, doing different things, but we really enjoyed our day. So that's why we're making it today. So now let's tell you about the houses. So we had 4 listings, right? And 3 of them were basements, 1 was an apartment. So you want to tell about the first place we went to see?
Yeah, so this first place that we went, initially we sort of get a lot of pictures that are sent by the agents to let us know like what are the kind of houses that we are expecting. So when we went to see the pictures of this particular house, we weren't very impressed by it because it looked rather small for the price that we were paying. But when we actually went there, we were super surprised because the house is not as small as it looks in the picture, and it has a lot of storage space because we have things accumulated here in this house. This is a big house, so we have quite a few things that we don't know where to store if you go to a smaller house, but having that kind of storage will definitely help us. And the vibes, which are very, very important to me, the vibes were super amazing. We got a lot of good vibes from that house. So by the end of visiting that house, we were pretty sure that this is going to be our first option.
Yeah, so we pretty much liked the place. It was different from what we saw in pictures. Really enjoyed it, and we were like quite confident about it actually. So but then we have to other listings, so we went to the second listing. That's also another basement, and this is actually, when we saw in pictures, this was actually going to be our first choice because we saw the interiors. We were like, amazing. We were like, this is nice, we should go for it. But then when we reached there, we saw the exterior of the place. It's not really well maintained. The backyard, all the grasses were growing, like plants here and there blocking the way, and there were a lot of mosquitoes because of that. So we were like, not a good impression. And then we got inside, and it's a new place, newly renovated. All the appliances are new, and the gold fixtures, like the tap was gold. The cabinet handles were gold. Definitely
not made up of gold, just gold color.
Yeah.
So,
but it just looked nice because everything was white, and then you have the gold accents. And it looked good, so we were like, oh. And it was 2 bedroom and 1 bath, and so we didn't really like it as much because there was rooms wise it was okay. There were no cabinets or any closet space there. And yeah, the surrounding basically, but otherwise everything was fine. But we were like, do we really want to pay like this much for what we're getting? So we were really not sure. So our ideas were different from when we saw in pictures. That's why we really reiterate that it's really important that you go and see it in person, because it really is important, because it's going to be different in person.
Yeah. And by the time there were a lot of mosquitoes, so 3 of us, which is the agent, her husband and me, we were suffering because of the mosquitoes. This fella over here was wearing full sleeves, so he didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, that irritated me a bit. Like the start itself, we are finding it so much inconvenience. The block wasn't opening also. So immediately we were like, should we even go for this house? And this house is slightly expensive. Like, I mean, it's still within our budget, but it is slightly expensive than the other houses that we were viewing. Plus we had to like pay 40% utilities. So we felt like, okay, maybe it is a nice house, but maybe we'll not keep it as an option for now. Yeah. So we went to see the other 2 houses. So the third house was an apartment.
So why we are looking at each other like that is because, so the apartment is a big no for us from the start, because when we first got into the area of the apartment, we were like, no, this looks really shady, like the place isn't that great and everything. But since we are there, I thought, okay, let's just, we thought let's go inside and take a look. And then once we opened the front door of the building and went inside, and we were visited by this huge smoke smell. You can imagine if you put someone in a room like for hours and they just kept smoking and smoking and smoking, and they left, and then you go inside, that's how it would smell. It was full of cigarette smoke and weed as well. And they were like, oh, that is bad. But anyway, we went inside the apartment. Apartment also smelled like that, but design and layout wise, the space, closets, it was fine. The apartment inside was fine, but everything else, no, big no. The neighborhood, a big no. So yeah, we were like, we already knew it's going to be a no. So it's just piling on and just reassuring ourselves like, yeah, this is a no.
Yeah, like in pictures, this was actually our second choice because the apartment was like budget friendly. It was like towards our minimum budget, which is like
yeah, we were saving up what, a few $100?
Yeah, about $200 to $300, which is a great amount to save. So we were kind of like leaning towards the house when we saw the pictures, but when we went in person, even the neighborhood was super sketchy. Like it just together, when it all comes together, it just had a pathetic bad vibe. So we decided not to go for that house. So that's why we are saying it's very, very important to go in person and see the house. Pictures will not tell you what the house is going to be like.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have the last house.
Yeah, so the last house, another basement, and we kept this house because it's like actually a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Excuse me, and it's a pretty small area, but we thought like, let's try this out because if it's nice, we are saving $400, which is a huge amount. Imagine 400 times 12 months. We're saving a lot of money, so we went to give it a try. And this neighborhood was not as bad as the third one, but it was still not really comfortable, that kind of thing. But anyway, we went to see the house and it was okay. It was new fixtures, new paint, and everything looks good. It's just it lacked storage space, and it was
not lacked, they had none. There was no storage space at all. Like where am I going to even store my clothes?
Yes. Like
his clothes, like I have no idea.
Yeah, so that was an issue, and we were like, it's very limited space, and we're like, we need to know where we can spend time, and it's not that.
Yeah, the vibes were not that great either. Like
yeah.
I wasn't happy, and the agent was telling us that, you know, this will save you a lot of money and you can consider this house.
Yeah.
But I was immediately like,
yeah, should you be saving 400? I mean, like, you can save $400, or like, but you know, you'll be living in this kind of place for the next 1 year. We couldn't live with that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's very important.
Our life is much more important than the extra $400 that we're saving. So
yes,
yeah, we just didn't.
So always remember, don't ever put your safety, security, and health at risk just to save money. It's not worth it.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, by the time we were done with all that, we kind of knew already like what we are going to choose. But just for the sake of it, we were like, let's discuss. And yes, that's what we did. So we just talked. We were like, okay, let's just go for the which one?
First one.
Yeah, we went for the first one because it's just right away, right off the bat, it just matched. We were like, it's good, it's fine, and we're saving a little bit of money compared to here. So there's a win there, small win. Just count your blessings, whatever. So we're happy with that. So we decided to go for that, and the agent has put in an offer, and we don't know if we got it yet. So maybe by the time this video goes live, we will know. And let's see.
Yeah. So till then, take care of yourself, be happy, be healthy, and I hope this video has helped you learn the small little things that we have learned through our experience here in Canada while looking for houses. And if you're looking for a new house, all the best to you. I know it is not easy, it is just too much stress to deal with when you're looking for a new house, but you will get it soon, and we will pray for you. So see you till the next video. Bye.